Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ProRevenge. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This first story was called, Neighbor's Life Ruined After Messing with My Maniacal Father. Alright guys, this was in 2004, so a while back. We are from the South. And now, when the neighbors first moved in, we used to shoot guns a lot just for fun and had little games like, Who hit the better shot? And stuff like that. Well, they were from California, so they had never shot or knew anything about guns, and it startled them. They asked us not to shoot during the evening if that was possible because they host dinner parties quite often for their clients, who are also from Cali, and last time they said they were all scared to death. So we stopped since they asked politely. We stopped at around 2 to 3 p.m. before the evening. Then they said they were leaving town for a few months and their son would be there, so if possible, they would like my dad to keep an eye on him and check up on him. Well, he partied a lot. My dad didn't say anything since he was 21 and it wasn't any of his business if he got drunk, smoked weed, etc. But he looked out for potentially harmful things like doing something stupid like drunk driving and stuff like that. And then, the almost nightly raves started about 2 weeks in. And at first, we didn't care. Their property, their business. But then, it got louder as they built a party area not but 50 feet away from our house on their property line. We then just asked nicely to keep it down a little since they came closer. We also had a baby, the second of my 4 little sisters, in the house that was losing a lot of sleep over this. He acted all smug and said, It's the country, baby. No noise violations out here. And went on to even saying things like, That's on you, bro, for having a kid. And before anyone says anything, I crap you not, the little cactus bit actually said something that stupid. Then proceeded to say, Your kid's health is not my problem, my guy. Now, my dad is not a violent person at all. My dad is actually quite the pacifist and believe we can solve more with words than fist. But don't literally say, I'm gonna ruin your child's health because I'm a donkey, and then act surprised when he starts moving towards you to beat your butt. Needless to say, him, like most pusillanimous individuals, didn't try to fight back, but had his friends jump in front of him whilst he talked crap. My mom talked my dad down as he had his can opener ready to open a can of whoop booty, and we went back. Well, my dad had enough, so he did what he always does when he would think. He lit a cigarette and sat outside and watched nature. He then, with a skin-crawling, gut-bubbling, devilish smile, turned to me and said, Son, go get our guns and bring out the targets. Also, get the cheap ammo. We are gonna burn through it. So, being in a southern state and just right out of city limits, we shot our guns with extra cheap ammo all night long for about 3 weeks, just 50 feet from them at the targets, and ignored them as they pleaded with us to stop. They called the sheriff so much they started ignoring them and never sent a car. And they even threatened them to stop calling as what we were doing was very legal. My dad said the last time they came out and told them that we were within our rights to do this, he said, It's the country, baby! No noise violations out here! Yeah! And that's true. It's all community regulated. If our nice neighbors asked us to keep it down, we did. That's what you do. You be polite to your neighbor. But this butt clown was the opposite of neighborly. And I doubt he could even spell polite. So, we continued until he fell into stage 2 of my satanic father's trickery. He told his parents. Is the mental sound my father made with his big Joker's grin, as he ran to get his house phone and call them to tell them that we were scaring them with our big bad shotguns and hunting rifles. Wow! While the darn party was still going on. And that was precisely the plan for my dad. You see, my dad played chess, not checkers. And just like a pawn, he moved and manipulated him into thinking it was his idea to call his parents. But it was my dad leading him in that direction all along. My dad, you see, he is a bit manipulative against people he doesn't like. And as a person that has done a combination of sales and hard labor, he knows how to read and play a train of thought and emotion. He could manipulate them into doing whatever he wanted. Well, El Dumbo and his huge ears fell for it. You see, his parents didn't want him partying or drinking, and as Christians, they really don't want him smoking weed. So, when they talked to him, they heard the music and knew immediately that there was a party. My dad said very loudly,
"Young man, I need to speak with your parents about this. I smell marijuana, you reek of alcohol, and these parties are getting out of hand."
His parents heard him say that and ordered him to put my dad on the phone. He then told them everything but made it sound like the son wouldn't give the number to their hotel. This was before the mass popularity of everyone having cell phones, plus they were older people like in their late 50s. My dad was telling the truth, but he technically never asked further after the first time that he did. He then told them about the state of their and our properties because of this. And anyway, they were back in only 7 hours via flight. They were coming back that day, and that was part of the plan as well. And they found the place trashed. They not only apologized, but offered us a vacation. They owned some hotel in LA, I don't remember which one, it was like a 3-star, and they gave us a 2-week pass, free food, etc. It was fun, didn't really lose anything in LA, which is a very nice southern way of saying I would never live there even if you paid me. But it was fun nonetheless. I heard they kicked him out too after that since he refused to look for a job and refused to work for the family business. Best part is, since his parents were honest people, they told the dean of his college he was attending that they will no longer be paying his tuition. So if he doesn't get you the money, to drop his butt. And that's what they did. Future ruined. Now he's working at the local McDonald's and lives in a rundown part of town instead of his family's really nice 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. LMAO GG. Alright guys, this was pretty good revenge if it was actually as calculated as the person claims. I really doubt the guy is freaking Batman, but that was pretty entertaining. Alright, this story was called Steal My Laundry Detergent? Hope you like the bleached clothes look. This happened when I was in college back in 2011. I lived in a 4-story dorm that was all guys, about 40 to 60 guys per floor. Each floor had 1 laundry room with 3 washers and 3 dryers, plus cubbies to store your laundry bag or soap while you were washing. A few months into the semester, I noticed my laundry detergent was disappearing faster than it should be. Not a huge deal, but mildly annoying. What made it a bigger deal was that whoever was stealing my detergent would also take my clothes out of the washer and leave them on the floor so they could wash their clothes. This pushed me over the line. I would typically do a load while I went to class, not classes, so this made finding the perp tricky. Then a golden idea hit me. I went to Walmart and bought a new jug of laundry detergent, the same brand I always get, but I also bought extra strength bleach. I poured half the detergent from the new bottle into my old bottle and replaced it with the extra strength bleach. The next day, I did my laundry as usual but left the new and improved detergent in the cubby instead of my regular stuff. Then I waited. After class, sure enough, my clothes were sitting in a pile on the floor, soaking wet, and the whole laundry room smelled of bleach. Just what I wanted. Fast forward to the next week, every Monday night we had floor meetings where we basically talked about rules and crap as a floor. In walks the guy, we'll call him Bob, wearing a newly bleached hoodie and ruined jeans. Bob dropped his pile of clothes on the floor and starts spouting about how someone owed him money for his ruined clothes. The whole floor burst out in laughter. Apparently, I wasn't the only one Bob was stealing soap from. He didn't get another sentence out of his mouth before our RA told him stealing detergent was still a crime. So it was his own darn fault. Enjoy your bleached clothes, Bob! Okay, that was a very satisfying revenge story because I have heard from so many people that people steal, micro steal a ton in college. It is really a problem. People are really entitled. Let us know in the comments below any interesting dorm stories you might have, that involve stealing, like a roommate stealing some of your peanut butter, every day. This story was called, Customer is Not Always Right in My Field. So, I'm an ASC certified mechanic. I've been wrenching for 22 years. This story happened way back when I was still an oil change tech and learning my way. The customer comes in one day and wants us to look at his brakes and put some pads on the car that he brought. The shop manager had me bring the car in to look at. I pull the car in the shop and it's grinding real bad when I hit the brakes. I know it's much more than a pad job. So the car goes up, the tires come off, and sure enough, he let his brakes go for so long there is no more brake surface on the rotors. He wore them down to the cooling fins in the middle of the rotor. I, of course, tell my manager. Well, he told the customer, a crotchety old man, the situation and explains he needs new rotors. We even took him out and showed him there is really no rotor left at all. Naturally, the guy gets super annoyed. Says we are just trying to get more money out of him. We better just do what he wants or he is going somewhere else, blah blah blah. My manager takes it all in, cool as a cucumber. When the dude was finished, my manager did the neatest thing I had ever seen at the time. He very calmly explained that the vehicle needed to be repaired correctly or he would red flag the car as it was unsafe to drive. Old boy looked like he was going to explode. He threatened to call the cops if we didn't return his vehicle. He said we were just crooks, the whole 9 yards. My boss said, it's cool, I'll call them for you. He called in the state highway patrol, showed them the car in front of the customer. They looked at him and said this car is unsafe for the road. He either has to fix it correctly or has to tow it out of the shop if he wants to go somewhere else, cause they will not let him on the road. Sad thing is, he ended up paying to have it towed out a few days later, which I'm sure cost more than the $40 for new rotors. I don't know if he got it fixed right or not. Most wrenches out there just want your car to be safe. We run on the same roads. I didn't know it at the time, but we do have the authority to lock your car down if it is completely unsafe for the road. That is until it is fixed correctly or towed somewhere else to get fixed correctly. I love what I do because it makes the road safer. I also work in a field where, no, the customer is not always right. Old man learned the hard way. A few others in my career have as well. That wasn't really pro-revenge, as I guess it was malicious compliance, but interesting story nonetheless. I'm curious, how many of you guys actually know a lot about cars? It's a good opportunity to tell some interesting stories down below in the comments of times mechanics have tried to upsell you. I'm no stranger to it and I know it happens a lot, especially with women unfortunately. This story was called, Ex Tries to Bully Me with Custody Agreement, So I Played Dirty. My ex-husband, Brian, was/is a toxic, controlling narcissist. Classic case. Our divorce was very bitter, but I tried to be fair, splitting custody and giving him decision-making authority under the assumption that he would be a better father than he was a husband. Things went well for about a year. I got a new boyfriend who was great to both me and my kids and wanted to be involved in their life. When Brian found out my new boyfriend, Tom, was going to be attending my kids' fall festival at school, he went off the deep end. He abruptly decided he wasn't going to watch the kids while I worked anymore. He also refused to let my friends or family watch the kids and said he would meet them first, but then would refuse to do so and claimed he would sue me for going against the custody agreement if I got a babysitter and he didn't approve since he had decision-making authority. I lost 2 days at work scrambling to find any place available, which was difficult because of the kids' school location they attend. He began asking the kids to call him every night, which is fine. But if we were eating or doing something busy and I told him it would have to be later when they called, he would rage and threaten to sue me. He began asking me at all times where I was with the kids. One day I went into work for 3 hours to clean up some things I missed due to a storm. I left the kids with Tom since waking them up at 4:30 a.m. seemed useless. When Brian found out, he raged and threatened to sue me. He threatened to apply for child support even though we split custody. He raged about every little thing. He didn't bring the kids to the Christmas school play because he knew Tom would be there. He fought me over medical appointments for the kids and refused to pay his share because he didn't agree to the appointment. And of course, would sue me. He wouldn't let me have the kids during his time, even to let them attend birthday parties or sleepovers with friends or family, something we had been doing for each other with no issue. This went on for about 2 months before I snapped. I hate when parents are willing to hurt their kids over their own egos. He kept threatening to take me to court and I was fed up with the empty threat. So first, I wanted to make sure he couldn't afford to fight me in court. Brian was on food stamps. I knew it only because he was claiming to pay his ex-wife rent. She still owns half the house and he still owed her half the value. I sent his ex-wife a message asking her if she was getting rent from him and she said no. I sent that letter to the Department of Children and Families and they closed his food stamp card and sued him for fraud. Then his ex-wife turned around and sued him for her value of the house since he was claiming to have been paying her all along. Then I sued him to modify the custody agreement and take out all the things he was using to try and harass me. I had screenshots of every nasty thing he sent me. I had a letter typed by his lawyer stating he was looking for another job since I wasn't paying him and that's why he couldn't watch the kids. So if he tried to get child support, I could prove he was capable of finding more income. I had medical records and receipts showing I had paid for everything for the last year for the kids' health needs. I had records of things he said to the kids about me. I had pictures of them looking filthy when picking them up from his house. I had receipts of everything I had spent on the kids for the past year. He folded quickly, cannot harass me anymore, and is still paying off his first ex-wife. That is some good pro-revenge. She actually really demolished this dude, financially speaking, and I guess in terms of custody. And this is good. We want the winners to have the kids. Losers are a no-go. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.